Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to Streaming Superstars with me, Sammy Superstar. Tonight, we're going to be talking to Spoke Audio. We're going to be talking about content creation and editing and live streaming and much, much more. So, here is Spoke at Me. Welcome.
Hey, how are you?
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Voice.
Who is that? Oh, Austinator
Austin.
loves my voice.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that.
Keep them
And so I
posted.
used to have a podcast, and that's where the Never Call Me Again came from. That was the name of the podcast.
And then what happened to the podcast?
Oh,
You ran out of time.
no, it kind of jumped the shark. And so starting the podcast was a prelude to starting YouTube.
Yeah.
It was an effort for me to get my feet wet, to get out there and acclimate myself to online media to one degree or another. And so I had a great time with the podcast. It lasted almost a year. It's still there. I'm able to go back to it at any time. And I I may at some point. I don't
Yeah.
know. You just never know what'll happen.
You never know. You could repurpose your live streams into audio podcasts because the power of ECamm. You know?
We've considered that, and so we have a live stream
Yeah.
7 o'clock Central Standard Time on Thursdays,
Yeah.
and cool to know is there. Wade from Wayside Wade is one of my co-hosts, and it's called the Creators Block, and so it's just creators sitting around talking about
Yeah.
what is going on and what's changing, what's not changing, what should change, and it very well could become a podcast.
So, my first question is how long have you been doing video editing?
Yeah. About a little over a year ago, I started YouTube with absolutely zero experience in anything at all. And I decided that I wanted to, um, I wanted to be on the platform, and I had absolutely no skills, no niche, no reason really, for all intents and purposes, to be here. And I tried quite a few things, realized very quickly that I was not good at quite a few things. And so everything I tried, I basically just was not great at. The one thing that I was good at, as it turned out, was editing. And I decided at that point that not only was I good at it, but I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it enough that I decided to go to film school, which I did. And so in May of this year, I will be I'll be an Adobe certified instructor, and so I will be able to teach editing, which is absolutely not my goal, not my interest. I don't want to do what is it called, tutorials. I do
Yeah,
not want to
yeah.
do tutorials. I'm
Totally
gonna
get that.
continue to do the vlog on the channel.
Yeah.
I'm gonna continue to upload some of my professional edits and call it a day. I typically don't have time to edit my own videos. I treat my channel is, and so some people, we were before the show, we were talking about Marga Gomez, and Marga, what she does is when she reaches a milestone on YouTube, a subscriber count or a view count or something like that, or X amount of live streams, she rewards herself with potentially a new microphone. And so what I do is when I've edited X amount of videos, whether it's, and so I recently did a commercial for Doritos. I edit for a YouTube channel with around 400,000 subscribers, and I do some short film editing.
Yeah.
And when I reach a milestone with one of those things, I reward myself by going out and editing one of my own videos for my channel, which is relatively rare. And it's funny, as an editor, I tend to kind of slough off when it comes to my channel and not necessarily take my time. And so I actually edited a video for my channel today, a vlog. Um, and I took my time on it. And so I spent half of yesterday and all of today editing a 6 minute video. And so the video is 6 minutes. It took me about 18 hours to edit it, but it came out really well. I'm really happy with it. And I think why I'm really happy with it is I slowed down. I applied everything that I apply to client work to my own channel, to my own efforts, and it's really rewarding to do that.
Yes, yes, yes. It is. Like I feel like whenever I edit a video, I do some climb work actually. I can get a pretty good edit, but I feel like when you edit for yourself, it's like, I don't want to do it. But when you edit for someone else, like, yes, let me do this and this. Let me implement this and that. You know what I mean?
I do. I actually, and so I have a video that's
Yeah.
going to come out in a couple of days, and it is an old. It's an old vlog. It's a vlog that I actually filmed and edited several months ago, and the message is really good. It's a great message to the vlog. The editing sucks. The color balance, everything about the video, it just really is not great. But I'm gonna put it up anyway because it's part of a three-part series. The third part of that series is actually the video that I worked on today, and so I think what it will do is it will serve to show kind of a before and after of this is kind of where I started with editing versus where I am today as an editor, as a content creator. And I think if anything, what potentially someone could get from the show tonight is that we spend a lot of time struggling and comparing and striving to do something on YouTube, whether it's become monetized, get the subscribers, whatever it is, whether it's a hobby, whatever it is for you. I think we spend so much time worrying and wondering versus working. And I think the thing is if you want to make it on this platform, something you're going to have to learn and realize very quickly is it is a incredible amount of work. When we compare ourselves to, I had someone a few months ago a friend asked me, he said, why have you had the growth and the strides that you've made on YouTube versus what I've had? And I said, well, have you put in the amount of work that I've put in? And, you know, i- what you gain is going to be commensurate with what you put in. It's an intense amount of work. But I think the thing is that it's really important to understand that you can start here on the platform with absolutely zero, zero experience and accomplish something with effort, with work, with education. I spend more time learning than I do creating. Um, I
So
learned,
right. So
yeah,
right. That's the same with me. Totally true.
yeah. I think you have to always be willing to learn, always be willing
Yeah.
to figure something out.
I don't know who doesn't learn. Like I feel like I learn whenever I live stream, even if it's a simple live stream with no one there or 100 people there. You know what I mean? Like you figure out, hey, even though I have been streaming for 6 years almost, coming up very very soon. Um, you realized, hey, even if I've been streaming for 6 years, this doesn't work, or like this is how to engage a audience. You know what I mean?
I mess something up every week. And so
Yeah.
I uploaded a video last week. It was up on the platform long enough to get 25 hours of views. And then I realized there was a mistake in the edit and I had to take it down and it hurt. It was a 15-minute video and removing it hurt. That's 25 hours of watch time. So I took the video down. I will eventually put the video back up. I don't want to put it up now because if I put it up today or this week or this month, it will not do well. Initially, it will go out to my subscribers, to my viewers, and feeding them a video that they've just watched, um, it just isn't going to work. And so it needs to go out later when there's an opportunity for them to potentially forget they've seen it. Um, watch enough of it to boost it in the algorithm, that initial boost, and let it go from there. Or potentially get enough new
Yeah.
subscribers that it's new to a portion of my base that allows it to work that same way. So lesson learned, you got to take your time.
Totally. Totally. So true. So, if someone's just getting started with editing, what software do you think you would recommend? If they are on a budget or they don't have a budget.
It would depend. If you're on Mac, I definitely would recommend iMovie. On a PC, a Windows computer, I would recommend possibly Adobe or DaVinci. DaVinci's absolutely, has a free version. Adobe, I think, is like 19 or $20 a month for just Adobe. I honestly think Adobe's easier to use than DaVinci is. Adobe's incredibly advanced for what it is, but it's been around a long time. I I definitely, if it needs to be free, I would go with DaVinci on a PC. I would go with iMovie on a Mac, and then potentially graduate from there. And I think that graduation, a lot of people recommend that you get away from, iMovie, for instance, as quickly as possible. And I think to some degree that's sound advice. I think on the other hand, on the flip side is, are you making strides? If you're getting lots of views, good retention, you're building momentum, then it might be a good idea to get away from it. If you're a really new channel, you're not growing, nothing's really happening. Um, I don't know that I would spend money. I think, looking back, I probably would have spent money differently. I would have, advanced my budget a lot slower with a lot of things. I think it makes sense to spend sparingly and spend appropriately. When the time comes that you're making money, then maybe you can spend money.
You're so right. Because I feel like every content creator has to start out somewhere. And I started out with iMovie, then I upgraded to Final Cut, then I was testing out DaVinci 2 years ago when it first really came out. Like that was back then because I've been content creating for the last 6 years. So I have been doing this all over and I know the things. So I would really recommend Final Cut or Adobe. So, yeah. And this is a big tip if you're a student or whatever you are, you can get a discount. So if you're a teacher or a student,
Right.
you can get it for $20.
Yeah,
So that's really good.
1999 for the entire Adobe suite if you are a student. Now what's funny though is if you go to a community college or something like that, you typically will be the curriculum. If you're going to take video editing, for instance, like at a community college, the curriculum will be Adobe Premiere Pro. If you go to film school, it will actually be Avid Media Composer, depending on what school you go to.
I was
And
about to say
so,
that.
right,
And that's ooh la.
if you get, well, here's the thing though, is Avid Media Composer is really antiquated. It's kind of glitchy. However, it works on PC or Mac. Um, it's very comparable in a lot of ways to Adobe Premiere Pro. The reason that I think, and so it's typically, if you are editing a TV show, if you're editing a actual film like a movie, if you're working in Hollywood, you are going to be using Avid Media Composer to edit on, even though it's antiquated. And the reason for that is it allows you as the editor to, as you're editing in real time, the producer, the director, anybody that wants to and has access can actually get on, watch you do all of this in real time, and leave notes, communicate with you about changes that need to be made in real time versus waiting until you're done and then flushing it back to you. And so for that reason, a lot of these places still use Avid Media Composer. I do not like it. I don't recommend it. It's
Yeah.
antiquated. It's sluggish. It just is not
Totally.
great. Um, Adobe Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro are absolutely excellent as far as paid software. I think they're probably the two front runners. DaVinci Resolve is in there. A lot of people use DaVinci with great results. I think it's excellent editing software. Um, so I think you can get a great result with that. It's just not something that I use.
Totally. And if you used iMovie or any of those, you need to add on like maybe Keynote or one of those things. But that's another option. Now, I'm curious about this because have you ever so far used the YouTube editor to make videos like live streams into videos?
I haven't.
Because
I
because
haven't.
right now I have seen that that does sometimes better than my pre-recorded videos. I can get up to maybe on an interview 100 plus views to 200 views after an interview if I do trim, cut it like a video, less editing, it processes, and that's going to be amazing. So that's what I really like about it.
I've never used any of the offerings from YouTube. I've never used any of their editing.
Yeah.
I used some of their music once for a
I'm not a
client
big
on
fan of the
YouTube.
music.
I had a client early on that was a
Yeah.
YouTube content creator. We've since parted ways, and he wanted music, and and so I used something off of YouTube, and it was good for the video. It worked, but
Yeah.
I've not used it personally. I use Epidemic Sound for my
Oh,
music.
I love
Um,
Epidemic.
I do have a corporate account, and so I'm able to use
Yeah.
that for a customer as well.
Yeah, totally. Because Epidemic gives you the flexibility of both.
Yeah.
Okay. My next question is if you started content creation a couple years before, would you start editing before, or would you just started editing a couple months ago and started classes?
I think things are very situational, and so I think starting on YouTube when I did, um, I think the dynamic was there. I think the stage was set in that I excuse me. I was able to learn and experience things in a time that really allowed me to, because of the pandemic. I think so many of us started YouTube because of the pandemic. We were bored, we had nothing to do, and so let's get on YouTube. And that's what I did, like so many other people did. And I think because of individuals that I interacted with, the time, and so it was a retrospective time. It was a time that you could sit and look within. And I think I took that time to realize that there were a lot of things that I was lacking at as a creator. Having that ability to be honest with myself, to look at my content and say, is this worthy? Would someone watch this? I think a really good test as a creator is to, look at your content, look at what you're creating, and then go look at who you subscribe to, and ask yourself very honestly, if I clicked on Peter McKinnon and this is what I found, would I be pissed or would I watch the video? And how much of it would I watch? And the answer for me was, when I went and looked at my content, I thought, I would not be happy with this. This is not what I would want to see first thing Monday morning when that thumbnail came up. It just was not very good. And because I was able to be honest with myself and say, hey, my content sucks, it was an opportunity for me to say what sucks about it. And ultimately, it comes down to, I'm not a videographer. There are a lot of things that I am not. As it turns out, I'm a pretty decent editor. And so I ran with that. And I think it's really important sometimes to step back, look at what you're doing and say, am I legitimately good at this? And if I'm not, is there anything surrounding this that I'm good at? Oftentimes, we want to do something and we're so passionate and so excited about it, we lose sight of whether or not we suck at it or not. And luckily for me, 2020 was a really quiet, dark time, and everybody was able to step back and take good, hard, long looks at themselves, hopefully. And I was able to do that and realize that I was doing something I had no business doing. And I needed to find, I really wanted to be on the platform. I wanted to do certain things, and I had to figure out a way to do it. What is my place? Where do I fit in with this? And I fit in as an editor.
That is amazing. Now, if someone's just starting, what tip would you give them?
Oh, with content creation, with editing.
Yes, both.
Um, I think here's the thing: is
Yeah.
I so one of the things about me is my channel is not at all YouTubey. Like I don't really do like tutorials or advice. I I think if I was going to give someone some advice, I think the advice would be slow down, take your time. Take the time to figure out who you are as a creator, where you fit in, and whether or not you fit in. I think the great thing about YouTube is that it's big enough, it's vast enough that I think there's absolutely room for everyone on the platform as long as what you're doing is positive. Obviously, if it's hateful, anything like that, obviously not welcome. But I think if there's a positive vibe to who you are and what you're doing, excuse me, I think you're absolutely welcome. There's room for you as a creator. A lot of the people that are in the chat tonight are vloggers. Greg's vlog show obviously is a vlogger. Um, and the thing is I think if you create in a way that's honest to who you are, honest to your experience, I think that will absolutely come out. I think that will resonate with your subscriber, with your viewer, give you an opportunity to grow. I think my advice overall would be don't start out with absolutes. Don't start out and say, this is who I am and what I'm going to do with absolute conviction. Be willing to grow and evolve as an
Totally.
artist.
Totally. Um, does anyone else have any questions? I have a couple ones, but if you have any questions, just type a Q in front of them. Now, are you gonna actually start implementing like live streams and then trimming them, because that could actually make a new audience, you know what I mean? Like go
I
live
do. I do.
and do all that.
I know that's the advice is from some creators. The advice is that you do this live stream and then you parcel it out
Yeah.
to make content out of it. And again, my channel is not YouTubey. Um, there are a lot of people that create content in very much the way that it's very this is who you are and what you should do. It's YouTube advice, and it's not who I am. It's not something I feel qualified to do or I'm good at. I think portions of my live stream really make no sense without the whole. I think you really kind of need the whole experience. The we tend to wander. We love to wander on the live stream, and we start out talking about one thing, and we end up a few weeks ago we had two sheep in the studio, and you just kind of never know what's going to happen. So, believe it or not, I usually get more views on the live stream after the live stream, and I get great retention on that. And so, I can do one live stream a week, get great views and retention on it. I've got an amazing community, and that works for me. And so, parceling it out, probably not. Again, it comes down to a point of, do I have the time in my schedule to do the extra edit, and I don't. Nice. So
So,
we've got a couple of
yeah.
comments and questions here in the chat. Anthony says good editors always save the day. because their core talent is fleshing out stories, and I agree. I think it's I think it's understanding that as an editor, you're a storyteller, and so whether you're working on short film or you're working on a tutorial or
Totally.
selling a bag of Doritos, you are trying to move a product, whether that product is the storyline or whether that product is a skill, whether it's a bag of chips. You want to move that along in a way that people want it. With an edit, I think typically what you really want to achieve as an editor is when I'm scrolling on my phone and I open it up and there's YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and I see that thumbnail. I want to hit that thumbnail, and at the end of that video, I want to feel differently about the
Totally.
video I've just watched. I want to feel emotionally different. I want to either be laughing or I really want there to be a paradigm shift in the video. I just want to have an experience that takes me outside of the thumbnail. The sign of a good video is that a day later, a week later, a month later, it's still in your mind to some degree. Maybe not constantly, but at some point, it comes into your mind. You think about it, and you reminisce about this story that you've just heard. Okay, yeah. What do you? So let me ask you this: what do you think of editing? And so there's a lot of people that film and edit videos on their
Yeah.
phones. And I've never actually edited a video on a phone. I filmed a video on a phone, but I've never edited one on a phone. And I know that like LumaFusion on the iPad is
Totally.
actually pretty advanced and works really, really well. And I think that's like a
Totally.
$30 one-time purchase. And again, I've never used it. I think for me, I think those things definitely have a time and a place. If we're going back to the idea that you're just starting out, um, knowledge, expertise, budget are a factor. I think they're great options.
Yes,
Um,
and great.
what do you think? Is that have you ever used any of those?
Yeah. Before going with Adobe, I had used Cyberlink Power. Yeah.
No,
So
I've never
even like,
used. Yeah, and the Final Cut Studio drove me nuts. Um, there are that's the thing is editing software is like live streaming software. It I really
yeah,
kind of wish we could cut them all up, parcel them out, and build like the perfect editing software, the perfect live streaming software. There's a lot with and so like you, I use ECamm. And there is so much I love about ECamm. There's a couple of things I really like about StreamYard that I wish ECamm could do and vice versa to build this kind of Frankenstein together, this perfect machine. And with editing the same way, there are things, Final Cut, for one thing that I really like about it is as soon as you bring a clip into the timeline, you can see the video clip. And so you've got the display window, and then you've also got the timeline. In Adobe, it's kind of a hassle to try to see it down there. You do have a window above to view it. I wish it was different. I have a love-hate relationship with Final Cut's magnetic timeline. You can disconnect it. I just don't like messing with it. As much as I love Mac, and I gotta be honest, and
totally.
so I'm one of the computers I use to edit on is my M1 Mac Mini, and I gotta be honest, it for me, my experience with Final Cut on the M1 Mac Mini is that it sucks. Like I have not had the best of luck. I have stifled the M1 Mac Mini using Final Cut and had Final Cut just completely freeze up and stop on me.
But
Couldn't
I
get it
think
off the
that's
screen.
why, because of your
N-
plugins and all that stuff.
Never had an issue. Never had an issue with Premiere Pro. Rendering in Premiere Pro on my M1 Mac Mini is like it's like that. It's just crazy how fast it is. And then I don't know that it's really optimized for it. Whereas, Final Cut's built for Apple. Um, So I think honestly, for me, all around, my favorite is Adobe.
Cam. But there is a new software that I think you're gonna like. It's web based. It's in beta form, so you should sign up. But I hear and I tested it. It's like OBS and ECamm and all that stuff. Interview. You can have up to 12 people. You can do all that stuff. But also, it's a video editor. So after you're done live streaming, you can
Mhm.
like press a button and edit it. So you can edit down live stream and all
So does
that
it
stuff.
edit it for you, or do you edit it
I
yourself? It
think you
just
have to edit
transitions to
it
editing.
for yourself, but I have to
Okay,
look in deeper. But when I actually know and get my hands on the software, then I can
right.
tell you. I
I
hear
don't.
great things.
That's the thing is, Adobe has a lot of Adobe has a lot of things that will kind of just do a lot of the work for you. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, if it would animate for me seamlessly, I would let it. Short of that,
Totally.
I really am pretty hands-on with my edits. I don't like to take any shortcuts. I don't like to let go of that steering wheel. I need to have complete control of that edit.
I
And I need to,
com-
especially the thing is, and so here's the thing with an edit. I'm responsible for the content I put out on YouTube, on my channel. Um, if I'm making a video, whether it's 3 minutes long or 15 minutes long, I'm responsible. I'm asking you for your time. And there's so many things in life that I could give back to you. I can never give you back your time. And so because your time is precious, I need to make sure that what I'm putting out there is the best possible version of whatever that is. And so with a client, again, it's that factor of I'm someone's time. Ultimately, this is going to be someone's time that is going to be consumed with watching whatever it is I've edited. It's going to be the client's money. So many things. I think it's really important, and it's my reputation as an editor. Do I send somebody something that's kind of half done, or maybe I just trusted the software to do it for me? It's just not a good idea.
yeah. Da Vinci is what I tried a couple months. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's the computer. Sometimes
that's
it's
the thing is I'll tell you with editing software, whether it's DaVinci, Adobe Premiere Pro, Final Cut, any of those, they really, really stress a computer out. They will stress a computer out way more than live streaming. It's one of
totally.
the biggest stressors you can put on a computer. And the computer really needs to be optimized and built in such a way that it can handle the stress and the pressure. It I you know so I don't have any videos on my computer. I never do. I never have. I have a portable hard drive SSD, um and everything is stored on that. It's edited on that. Nothing ever is actually
Yeah.
on my computer. And that's the thing with Adobe is Adobe actually just
Totally.
creates a link. And so when and this is for Homestead Family Reclaim, who he's actually new to editing and is looking to edit some stuff on his computer. And so one of the things with Adobe Premiere Pro, for instance, is when you import that media into Adobe Premiere Pro, it's not actually there physically. You can edit it, you can render it, process it all right, all of these things. It you leave the file in place, and so it is wherever you're actually creating a link. And so the link is to wherever it is actually stored, is where it remains. You have a
Yeah.
basically a copy of it. Um, Me Too Spoke. Everything is on my hard drive. Yeah, I and so
Yeah.
is only on my hard drive. Now, is that a portable hard drive or is it the hard drive of your computer? I don't have anything. I don't. This computer that I'm using to live stream, I live stream on it and I edit on it, and that's it. I don't do. There's no emails on this. I don't watch videos or movies. I don't do any of that. Um, just because with editing, storage is storage and RAM, everything is really, really important when it comes to editing, and it just has to be flawless. Construction Cronies says he got DaVinci Resolve with his Blackmagic camera. It's amazing for coloring, but I still use Premiere Pro and After Effects mainly. Yeah, it. I'll tell you, DaVinci's really, really good, and I've not checked it out as much as I would like to. But yeah, I'm a Premiere Pro guy as well. And initially, I initially really liked Final Cut, but it was because I went from iMovie to Final Cut. You know, it's that normal transition with a Mac, and I really fed into the whole idea of, Final Cut's optimized, it's better, and I think in some ways it's great. I think in some ways maybe it is better. I think ultimately for me, for my use case, Premiere Pro is the way I go.
Yes. So I'm going to say thank you to everyone that has been watching the stream. I know we didn't answer your questions or the chat. I like to keep it short because I don't want to go over an hour because we have people's time, the interviews, you know what I mean? And we want the replay. So I just really appreciate that you have spent an hour with me, Sammy Superstar, and I will see you next time. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you guys. Thank you for
Spoke
having me.
Audio. We're gonna post his channel again. We're gonna say goodbye and where? Never call. It's in the description, but I'm just posting a link. But can't wait to
Hey,
see.
Marga Gomez is here. We were just talking about you,
Yeah, we
Marga,
were just
just before
talking
the
about
show.
you. We were just
She actually
talking
was,
about you.
and so Marga was actually live streaming when we started, I think, or I think at 7:50 tonight. And so I will have to go back
Yeah.
and watch that. And my friend Cool to Know actually, and so they left in the middle of this live stream to do one on their show, and so I have to go watch that as well.
So thank you guys, and I will see you next time.